Now, imagine this. What do you expect when you walk into your school's library? I'm guessing picking out a book or staying after school to get your homework done. You are a high schooler after all. For some, this place is the go-to spot to get stuff done. For others, it's a place to mess around with your friends and draw wieners in the books. But for one man, this place is sacred to him. This man's name, we'll simply say, is Senpai, for reasons we'll later explain. Now, Senpai is more of the nerdy type, and he actually enjoys working on his homework. So he decides to go one of his favorite spots in the library to finish his homework. As he walks in there, he notices a group of girls already in there talking and making a lot of ruckus. One hand in a bag of chips and the other in a My Little Pony set. As he's walking past them, he realizes that these are the popular girls of the school. The mean girls. They stare daggers right at him as he walks past them. He's worried, thinking he's gonna get an all-out verbal assault on his twink-looking ass. But just as his heart starts to beat faster, they look away, continuing their conversation. As he sits down, he thinks to himself that this is his favorite place to come, because nobody's usually here. But today was not one of those days, however. He thinks to himself, man, he dislikes girls like that. All he wants to do is get his homework done and go home to play some Pikmin 2. As he's working through his homework, all he could hear is them babbling about something. He gets irritated, so he decides to give him a death glance. But little did he know that the moment he did, they were already staring right at his soul. The predator always beats the prey after all, so he looks away nervously. They make nothing of it and continue on with their conversation. But his heart and his balls are racing. He says to himself to stay calm. He gets up, packs his belongings in his bag, and gets ready to leave. But just as he does, he overhears one of them say that one of their favorite books is near his direction. Now he's shitting his pants. As one of the girls comes near him, he feels his asshole expand and about to open the floodgates. She walks over and grabs a book behind him. Just as she does, he gets all twitchy and drops his book bag, pulls an Andy. She notices it and decides to be a good human being about it and bends down to pick up the pieces of paper. Right when she does, she calls over all her other friends to come look at it. It then hits him that he brought his hentai that he drew at home to school. It's all happened to us before. They all come over checking out the sexy stickman that he drew. He drew humongous balloons on her chest, and they all start laughing and making fun of it. But one girl comes in last, and he could feel her whole aura. Her body was covered in darkness. He just took in all the insults, cause what else is he gonna do? He is getting cooked like a flame-grilled Whopper. But thankfully, one of the girls says that they gotta go. And with that, they all left. All but one. She says she wants to stay. He gets a tingle from his balls as she says it, almost like a spidey sense. And then she proceeds to give him one of the most sinister looks that a human being could give one another. She then picks up the pieces of his artwork and reads them out loud, mocking him as she does so. All he can do is sit there and take it like she's taking a massive shit on his chest. He tries to reaffirm himself, but she puts a manga panel up to his face and says that the main protagonist is you, isn't it? He wrote that character to be a Sigma male, like Patrick Bateman and Giga Chad combined, but she sees right through that. She's saying that he projected himself to be the main character, who gets all the maidens and fucks at least once a day. She says she doesn't want to be rude about it, but that she feels sorry for the main character and himself. He asks why, and she says she'll show him. She then performs one of the most marvelous acts that a person can witness. At the speed of sound, she bolts and does a 360 kick.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
He's a same as last time. His testicles tingle. What he's about to go through is what scholars describe as getting fucking creamed on. She goes straight for his jugular, saying no way he's badass enough to pull off something that slick, calling him a virgin-looking ass senpai. God damn, man. He's in complete shock. He doesn't know what to think or say right now. All he can do is stare into those wicked eyes of hers. But it gets to be too much, so he has to look away. But she still maintains eye contact. She says you're supposed to look at someone when talking to them. She then backs him up into a corner and gives him one of the most devious, insidious, nefarious, if you will, looks he's ever seen come across a human being's face. As she performs this heinous act, she calls him creepy. That's it. His body can't take it anymore. It's shutting down. Not only is he hurt physically, but emotionally he's in shambles. His eyes begin to fill up with tears. He's been holding it in this whole time, but it's time to let the waterworks flow. She says, "Are you finally crying, you little bitch?" She then pulls out a handkerchief and proceeds to wipe away his tears for him. Very kind. As it soaks up his tears, all he can do is just take it. He's emotionally drained and physically tired. He goes limp on the floor, staring at the handkerchief she gave him with all of his tears on it. She says he could have it and that she's sorry for messing with him. He doesn't even hear what she just said. His ears are ringing. He has been defeated and completely emasculated. All he can do is sit there and ponder on what just happened. As she walks away, she gives him a
じゃあね、先輩。
He comes back to life and thinks to himself that a first-year girl made him cry. She does an innocent schoolgirl run out of there. He goes back home, having PTSD and hearing nothing but the laughs of those girls. This isn't even remotely hot enough to jerk off to, so he goes to sleep. The next day rolls around and he enters the art room. But just as he does, he hears
先輩。
the tingles on his balls are back again. She says, "What's up?" and asks, "What are you doing?" Immediately, he reaches for his handbag. Not for the Glocky bra, but for the handkerchief she gave him. He says that he washed it and that he's returning it back. She says that was for him to have, but he turns his back towards her and enters the classroom. He takes a sigh of relief, thinking that this will be the last time he ever deals with her. The moment doesn't last long as he hears the door open. He looks behind him and sees what only could be described as a little succubus.
What's a succubus?
A succubus is a woman sent from hell to suck the life out of a man.
She gives him a little chuckle and walks around the room. He asks, "What are you doing here?" But she ignores the question. She's simply observing and wandering around the room, but he gets a sense that he's about to get another shit on his chest. She asks if he's the only one here, and if so, the two of them are the only ones in that room.
先輩。
You say, "Get the hell out of here." She has no reason to be there. She then grabs a chair and walks in front of him. She says that she'll model for him. She'll be his Rose to her Jack. He says he's not really into the idea, but she has something up her sleeve. She says he might be down if she got a little sexier for him. Gazungas do make the world go round after all. She unbuttons her shirt, and he proceeds to get nervous. This is starting to become a porn parody. He says fine, he'll draw her, but keep your clothes on, you whore. As he begins to sketch her out, the phone rings. He asks if she wants to take a break. She responds with, "You've been acting a little sus this whole time." Us? She accuses him of not drawing anything. He doesn't even know where to begin, as he's never even looked at a girl head on before. Relatable. She says if he draws her properly, she'll give him a reward. Now, he's wondering what that means. He asks, but she says it's a secret. It could be anything. A new Lego set, McDonald's French fries, or maybe even a smooch on the cheek. She sings him a little tune to give him some motivation, so he picks up the pencil and starts the art piece. Hours roll by, and he finally finishes the sketch. She says, as promised before, he shall get a reward. However, he needs to close his eyes first. As he shuts them, a galore of thoughts are racing through his mind. She could tie him up and mail him to Thailand, where he'll be a ladyboy servicing the fine gentleman over there.
But I'm
Everyone.
not lady.
Or she could simply do nothing. But all he feels is her grabbing his chin and her breath coming close. Little does she know, all he draws is thighs back at home. She says, "Are you gonna cry again, pussy?" Damn, this girl's mean. She grabs him by the arms, but he can't pull away. He's not a macho man like Randy Savage. He starts weeping again, but she's helping him clean up. She says to draw her properly next time, and she'll give him a big reward. He starts to walk home, only for her to keep following him. She's calling him by his new name. As the two of them are about to go their separate ways, she has a question for him. She wants to be his new sugar mommy, but she says psych and slaps his ass. He says he knew she was joking with him. As he starts to walk away, she gives him a push, and he rolls away like a Goron. He picks himself up out of the river. He busted a little, but that's alright. He starts to walk away again. She says, "Don't you ever get angry," and that she's been doing some horrible things to him. But he's like the Hulk. He's always angry. So he transforms into the Hulk and starts throwing her around. She didn't know that he was in the Avengers. She does tick him off a little, but he really doesn't hate her that much. He asks what's her name, and her response is Nagatoro. She wants to get to know him some more.
先輩。
And then Iron Man comes by, dropping a missile obliterating Thanos Toro before Thanos Toro can get all the anime faces stones and rule the world. Like and subscribe.